Greetings and salutations, it's me, Colin Moriarty. This week on SideQuest's YouTube channel, instead of doing a traditional episode of SideQuest, I've been doing some Let's Plays here and there, and I thought it would be appropriate for me to do a Let's Play of the Mega Man 11 demo that came out last week that people have been asking me about. By the way, you'll notice here that even if I select no on an explanation of the double gear technique, which I'll teach you about as we play the game, it asks me twice. It's a little bit annoying. Now, not surprisingly, the demo only gives us access to one stage, which is perfectly fine with me. That's about as much spoilerish kind of shit as I want to see. Mega Man 11, of course, comes to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch on October 2nd, so we're not that far away, and we'll see the full game. And I'll obviously have a full, robust review, and maybe even a full gameplay video for you guys when the game comes out. But nonetheless, here's the stage select screen. You've seen stage select screens like this since Mega Man 2, specifically when it expanded to 8 Robot Masters. Blockman is the only option. Blockman's a little bit reductive to me. I'm not incredibly impressed by this design. He's a little reminiscent of Hard Man from Mega Man 3, but obviously very reminiscent of Stone Man from Mega Man 5. He looks a great deal like him, in fact. You know, different coloring and stuff like that. But nonetheless, this is who we have. Note that Mega Man, as his eyes kind of follow the cursor as you move around, that, of course, is an ode to Mega Man 3. Now let's select Blockman. The music, classic music, showing the stance here, as it were, of Blockman. Dr. Wily number 81. We're getting pretty deep into the numbers now on a CRT, old school kind of feel. And we're sent to his sort of like ruins, these pyramids that we have to go through to get to him. Before I go any further, though, there are certain things that I do want to teach you about so you understand what's going on in the game. I mentioned that new system, the double impact system. I don't know what the hell they call it, double whatever technique. I'm not really crazy about it. I feel like it kind of breaks the flow of the game, but nonetheless, it is necessary. I'm playing on PlayStation 4, so if you press R1, you'll see that things slow down. You can still get your Mega Buster out pretty quick, but things slow down. And you'll see that on the left side, upper left side, you'll see your classic health bar. Next to that is Rush Coil's health. That stays there permanently. I'll explain why in a minute. And then underneath that are the gears that work in this new double system. So again, R1 slows down time, while L1 allows you to shoot faster and harder and more powerful, Mega Buster shots. In addition, the slide has come back. The slide, of course, was introduced in Mega Man 3 and was removed in Mega Man 9 and 10, which disappointed me. And the superpowered Mega Buster shot by holding down fire has returned. That, of course, made its introduction in Mega Man 4 and was also removed from Mega Man 9 and 10. So we haven't seen those since Mega Man 8 in the classic series. Mega Man 8, by the way, 20 years old, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. The other thing that I want to show you before we move forward are the menus. The menus are actually very clean. I like how clean the menu is here. The game gives us access to 2 enemies' weapons, even though we're not going to fight them. We presume that we've already beaten them. We're going to see here the Pile Driver, which is from Impact Man, and we're going to see Scramble Thunder, which is from Fuse Man. I'm not incredibly crazy that in this game, Mega Man kind of turns into an iteration of them when he's using their weapon. That's not the way it usually works. He usually just turns into a color that's reminiscent of their color scheme, and then he uses the weapon. I think that's kind of corny, to be perfectly honest with you, so I'm not crazy about that. I'm not really going to use the weapons as we go through this stage, but I do want to show you them in case you want to see them. So this weapon, we first had a kind of an electric attack with Elecman in Mega Man 1, and again, kind of revived with characters like Sparkman in Mega Man 3. This one goes along the ground in a similar way, actually, to Snake Man's weapon from Mega Man 3, but not a remarkable weapon. And then if we want to, wrong menu, if we want to go and see the Pile Driver, this is more of a physical weapon. And of course, physical weapons like this are not very common. They were introduced with Top Spin, Top Man's weapon, in Mega Man 3. In other words, using your body as the weapon. It's not a projectile. And that's been revived in certain ways with Charge Man, for instance, in Mega Man 5, etc., and so on. So again, I'm not going to be using those weapons, but I did want to show you them. The cool thing about this, though, is that to call Rush Coil in this game, Rush Coil, you used to have to go to the menu or use the triggers on your controller to get to him. He's right here. You don't have to do that. Now you can just press triangle, and he appears right away, and you can jump on his back. And just in case we want to go through all the other stuff in the menus here, you see on the bottom left corner, your lives. You can have up to 9 lives in this game, not unusual for a Mega Man game. Below that are bolts or screws, depending on the game you're playing. These were introduced in Mega Man 7 on Super Nintendo and is a sort of currency that you used to kind of shop at a shop run by a character named Otto, who was also introduced in Mega Man 7. There are screws/bolts in the stage. We can collect them if we want them, but we can't really do anything with them at the present time. E-Tanks return. You can have 6 E-Tanks here, so this is kind of falling somewhere in the middle of Mega Man 2, which introduced the E-Tank, by the way, and allowed 4 E-Tanks, while Mega Man 3, its next game, allowed 9 E-Tanks, and it kind of vacillates in between. 6 is pretty generous, but the game does seem to be pretty hard. Weapon tanks, you can have 6 of them as well. That's a pretty extraordinary number. Usually that's held to 1 or 2. And weapon tanks were introduced, of course, in Mega Man 4 on Game Boy and then Mega Man 7 the next year on Super Nintendo. And you have the M tank here, which, depending on the game you play, some people call it the Master Tank, some people call it the Mega Tank, whatever you want to call it. That was introduced in Mega Man 5, and that basically, refills your energy, refills your weapon energy, etc., and so on. Over here, you have Super Guard, which, as you can see, halves your damage when you're using it on a stage. You have Eddie, also known as Flip Top, also known as Anchor, who was introduced in Mega Man 4. You call him, and he brings a special weapon item for you, rather, whether it's an E-Tank, maybe it's a W-Tank, maybe it's just a weapon energy or whatever. And then you have Beat here. Beat, of course, introduced in Mega Man 5, and Beat will come, if this is, kind of, I guess, engaged, will come and grab you if you fall into a hole. If you go to the right from here, you see that there are a bunch of parts. All of them are question marks, which is exciting. So there's stuff to collect in the game. I'm really super stoked about that as well. And by the way, in the beginning, I don't know if you saw, there is another difficulty level above normal. It's not unlocked for you when you start. I just downloaded this one on my PS4 in my office. So anyway, that's that. Let's keep going now. I hope that wasn't too boring for you. So as you can see here, we have some falling blocks, not unlike maybe Sparkman stage in Mega Man 3. And these guys look like some sort of rendition of like Sniper Joe driving those vehicles, and you can only hit them if you get into that little circle. And these guys keep coming back, kind of like the little kind of cylindrical enemies on Crash Man stage in Mega Man 2. Now, this enemy here takes a ton of damage, and it's a good idea to use the L1 slow down time thing to get close to him and kill him quickly. Hit triangle if you want. We can get the screw, and then we can move on. I do like the inclusion of rush on triangle. I think that's really cool, so you don't have to keep going back for him. I don't like the L1 and R1 inclusion of these slow down time stuff and all that, but you do need to use it to get through the stage, as you'll see. These blocks here can just be shot out with normal shot, which is a little unusual. Of course, barriers were introduced for the first time in the original Mega Man. You had to use Gutsman's Hyper Arm to get rid of them, or Super Arm, I should say. And in Mega Man 2, you needed to use Crash Bombs. In Mega Man 3, you needed to use Hardman's Hard Knuckle to get rid of the barriers. Here, you just do this. So you don't need Drill Bomb like in Mega Man 4, etc., and so on. Here is a Metul, or Met, classic enemy, first introduced in Gutsman stage in Mega Man 1, and is in pretty much every Mega Man game, kind of like the icon of the entire series. We don't need to go up there. There are some screws. Again, since we can't spend, what's the point? And we'll watch as these blocks fall. Again, you can see the dirt kind of coming down. That indicates that they're about to come down, and they come down at different cadences. Here's a mini-boss, and here we're going to have to get pretty clever. So we're going to use, and I'm going to jam away, and then just like let up. I obviously slow down time there, and you don't want to stay within the meter too much, because if you let the meter fill up too much, I'll show you. If you let the meter fill up, it explodes, and you'll see on the corner there, it's in red now. And I'm electric. It's not hurting me, but I just simply can't use it until it kind of cools down. And the cooldown is much quicker if you do it before it runs out. So just some food for thought there as you play the game for yourself in early October. We don't need these, but we might as well just grab them. Those are energy pellets. And we climb higher. Now we can be a little strategic here. And maybe get this guy. Trying to coerce him the other way, but we're not going to be able to get him. There we go. And we can just use Rush here if we want, just to avoid this and give us a little bit of an easier go. This part's kind of cool. This thing smashes down behind me. And then I have to get through these things that are moving towards it. And 2 of them appear. 3 of them, because I wasn't quick enough. Usually it's just 2. Oh, man. Is there going to be another one? Nope. That was not a good showing. I apologize about that. And we're just going to keep going. We'll slow down time again. Take this guy out before he swings his hammer. Okay. Now things start to get a little tricky here. Those things you want to kill as soon as they appear basically as these amorphous images, as it were, but they light up and can do a lot of annoying damage and be quite pesky, so you want to take care of them. And that as well. Oop. I'll let him come to me. I waited a little too long to get up the ladder. Okay. So we'll jump. We'll wait for one more, and then we'll go. And then we're back outside. Now, this stage is very reminiscent to me of Pharaoh Man stage. Whoops. Of Pharaoh Man stage in Mega Man 4. And kind of Centaur Man stage a little bit to me in Mega Man 6, which you guys will remember are kind of like in these ancient ruins. And even the night sky and all that, it gets a little darker, I think, as you go through the stage. It's very reminiscent of Pharaoh Man stage. Maybe reminiscent a little bit of Crash Man stage with that night sky, maybe for Mega Man 2. Maybe a little bit reminiscent of some other nighttime stages as well from Mega Man 4, like Toad Man stage. But obviously the pyramids evoke Pharaoh Man in a major way. All right, so we're back here. The same mini-boss as before. It gets a little trickier because we're on a conveyor belt. So we'll do the best we'll do the best we can here. There we go. We got him. And we can move to the right. Now, you'll see that there's an extra life up there, but you don't want to go quickly because underneath it's this weird enemy that will scamper off. And by the way, I'm a little unsettled by the extra life icon in this. It's like diamond looking. Looks like a mask, like something someone would wear as opposed to his actual head. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be that disturbed by it. We'll see if we can get him. Ah, I didn't get him in time. Bad showing. All right. Oops. This part's a little rough. I got him there. Okay. And we're through. And we have these like dispensers up here. Slow down time again to take care of this dude. And we'll move forward. And we have another one of these. This one's a little bit more tough than the last one, as you're going to see. This one's a little crazy. So we have to get under here and then slide out just in the nick of time. Not too bad. There's an E-tank up there. We will need it for Blockman. I don't think he's close enough. No, he is. Okay. Cool thing about Rush, by the way, he'll actually break these blocks. Watch. Pretty cool. All right, this part's pretty tough. I die here. It's not unusual for me to die here. Let's say that. You have to really manipulate time very, very carefully here. All right. Let's rest for a minute before we go up. Wait for one more block to come. All right. And get out of here. Okay, we're good. So we're reaching like the last third or so of the stage. Some pretty cool background art and these Mesoamerican looking kind of surroundings that we're in. I wonder what Blockman is doing here, what nefarious deeds he's up to. Ugh. Amateur. Amateur hour. And these conveyor belts, of course, very reminiscent of Metal Man stage in Mega Man 2, which I'm sure you've already realized. All right, so we're at the stage here. Love the Dr. Wily logo, old school Dr. Wily logo, the stars. I don't know if you noticed when I climbed up, there's a couple shooting stars that fly down, which is pretty cool. The doors are a little bit different, and people are complaining, and rightfully so, that you can no longer jump into the stage, which is what everyone dramatically does. Not cool. But let's fight Blockman. Let's see what we can do to him. Oop. Not playing very well here. And then he transforms. I'm not really crazy about this, that he does this. I think it's kind of corny. It reminds me a little bit of Shovel Knight, which is nothing wrong with that. But, let's see if we can get around him. Ah, he killed me. I'll use my E-Tank this time so we can actually see him through to the end. Of course, Mega Man. I love the way Mega Man just comes down out of nowhere. It's so cool. All right. Let's see what we can do. All right. Look at the hieroglyphs in the background, by the way. They're so cool. You have to hit his chest here. Timing is everything, of course. I think we're going to get him. You have to kind of get underneath him. All right, let's use an E-Tank. Just to be safe. And that should do it. And then Blockman reappears. And you can kind of just hammer him. You can stay on him. It's going to be close. But we got him. That son of a bitch. That fight is very reminiscent to me of, what is it, Tinker Knight in Shovel Knight, where he starts small and ends up big. Kind of ends up easy and whatnot. But anyway, that's, you know, not a very elegant fight with Blockman, but a fight with Blockman nonetheless that I hope you enjoyed. It shows you what goes on in the game. Let's watch. This was, of course, the very first piece of art we ever saw from Mega Man 11. You might remember that it was in Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. And you can actually try it here. Call down blocks. There's a tutorial like this in the beginning if you want to use it too to kind of learn the moves, and some of you will be new to Mega Man, so you'll need all the help you can get. And that's it. That's Mega Man 11. So again, Mega Man 11 comes out October 2nd on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. I'm really looking forward to playing it. I definitely have some squabbles with it so far. I'm not really crazy, again, about how complicated they're making the core gameplay. That doesn't really speak to me as a Mega Man fan. I'll be interested to see how they integrate that through the rest of the game, though. And I'm super excited to play it. I can't wait for Capcom to send me my code. So I wanted to do this demo Let's Play for you guys in the meantime, show you what the game's all about. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for your love, your kindness, and your support of Colin's Last Stand. Remember, support the show on Patreon if you can, and if you'd like, patreon.com/Colin's Last Stand. I appreciate every one of you. Take care.